Hi, it's Chris Watkin here, joined today by Graham Howell, who is an estate agent from Coventry, and he wants to talk about mental health with particular interest in estate agency. Graham, why is mental health in estate agency of interest to you? Talk to me.
Massively, and thank you for the opportunity to actually get this platform out there, because it's affected me, and I hold my hands up, so I'm certainly an advocate of it, and I know how much it affects other people through my journey of 20 years in the industry. So working back in the corporates, but very when I was with Purple Bricks, because of the training that we did, you really lived, breathed and worked alongside those people. And I know that so many other people are in the same world as me with that black dog. It's called the black dog, and it's controlling it, because sometimes that black dog could just be down there and you're in control. Sometimes that black dog's bigger than you and it's overtaking and overcasting your world.
Do you think because estate agents tend to be more on the disc profile, more I profile, which means that they're outward going people, and their biggest fear is rejection, do you think estate agents have a greater propensity to suffer from mental health?
I think if you're a people person and you're emotional person, 100%, because you're allowing your emotions will take you on that journey. It's what people are going to be buying into, though, but you've got to be able to control your emotions, because you could buy into me and I come along that journey.
Okay. I mean, why do you put 10 houses on the market and then lose the 11th and it feels like your heart's been ripped out and a dagger through your heart, you know?
It is, but it comes back to it, because again, you don't want, to anyone, you wouldn't want to lose a listing. And this comes back to me.
No, but it's not losing the listing though, is it?
It's not. This comes back to my point. When I was at Connells or Sequence, I would be feeling like that. Or if my team hadn't listed it, why haven't we got that one? We've lost that one. We're crap or whatever. Now is the different point to me. If I go out to, let's say, 10 properties, out of those 10 properties, I should be getting 6 or 7 of those, if I look at my rate. Now, if I'm getting those onto the market, that's great. But I also know, out of those 6 and 7, I might lose one of those. But that's life. You're not going to win every single instruction, because not every single person is going to align to me. I'm not going to align to every single person. You've got to realise business is about working with people that you want to work with, or again, it's not always good for your mental health.
I mean, why do we allow the judgment of others to affect our happiness? Because that's what we're almost doing, isn't it?
We do that. Sorry, I didn't mean to point. That's really rude. But we do that. The factor of it is, when we're younger, we massively care. I know when I was in my 17s and 21s, and you're going out, you're caring about what you're wearing, how people judge you. You then get into your 20s and you're worrying about what people will think, or what I should wear, or is my hair okay today? All those bits, and you suddenly hit a point. I personally think in life where you have an epiphany, where you're like,
when did that epiphany come to you?
Again, 2.5 years ago. It is coming to me where, yes, don't get me wrong, when I first started that business with Fine & Country, when I lost an instructor, I'm like, oh God, that's gonna pay for my roof above my head. But also at the same time was, actually, if I had taken that instruction on, because you've got to talk to your own head, it probably would have been absolutely hell for me, because me and the customer, who could have become a client, we didn't align. For whatever reason, we didn't click. And not being rude, when you come on a journey, we're normally going to be on that journey for 3 to 6 months. If I'm working with, like I say, if I'm in the high street, which I was at Sequence, you'd have 250 properties, maybe 300, and you've got to service those. That's going to give you a hell of a lot of stress and worry at night. If I'm working for myself, 8, maximum 12 clients, you can give that level of service without that fear or terror that I haven't delivered. You can switch off and go to bed at night and actually sleep.
What advice would you give to other agents on dealing with that issue?
The biggest thing I would say to people...
Do you think this is the biggest thing in estate agency, this fear of losing?
I think
rejection.
I think occasionally it will be biggest fear of losing rejection. Occasionally it's allowing other things in your life to become or to take control, and it's out of proportion. So things that might be happening around you. It's so easy to say now, but it's about keeping yourself grounded, making sure when you've got things that you've got good friends. That is essential. Good friends and family that you can trust, that will be there for you and help you through these bad times. Because I've had some people that haven't, but I've had some really good friends that said, no, Graham, you've made an error of judgment there, but it's okay, because everyone makes mistakes. let's help you through this. This is what we've got to do. That's what you need
But
around
that's the
you.
problem. When you've worked in corporate land, you can't really speak frankly with the guy or girl in the next branch because they're almost competitors and they're on a...
You think, well, sometimes you think that, or you think you can. But of course, not everyone is your friend, Chris. Does that make sense? So you might go and speak to someone, and then before you know it, the cat's out the bag.
So really, if you do work for a corporate, because I know a lot of people watching this, probably get some mentoring from a friend or just someone you trust, just to talk it through. Because quite
Definitely.
often when you verbalise something, it changes it, doesn't it?
Massively. And like I say, I love that because when when you do verbalise something and you're putting it across, and say if I was having a chat with you, I'm going to start answering my own questions.
Yes, you are.
By saying what I need to say to you, but I feel empowered. You need to find 2 or 3 people that you can lean on, because sometimes, Chris, if you were my only person, oh, God, I'm not going to take that call today, because there's only so much every human can do as well. But you need, 5 people, like as you get older, you have 5 good friends that you can count in your hand, can't you?
And I think a big thing here is this, and I wasn't going to mention this, but I think it's going that way, is that's where the wonderful thing about agents together can come in, because even if you don't know a friend, boys and girls out there in the estate agent and letting agency land, then you can get a mentor who is an estate agent who understands the stuff you're going through, but just to talk it through. And it doesn't cost any. I know you've been a mentor yourself.
It's definitely worth doing it if you're struggling. And the nice thing about agents together on that, if you're reaching out, it's someone independent. And the greatest thing on that as well, if I was mentoring you, everything that we have in that conversation is confidential.
I mean, but then what's in it for you as a mentor?
Like I said to you, when we did the video before, if you can give back, and it certainly helps you if you've got issues with mental health, you're giving something back, you're getting something back. And it actually helps you in twofold. One, it will help you in a way that just helps to calm, ground you, and you feel good. It's a feel-good factor.
Yes, because helping someone else, the brain rewards you.
Yeah, you get those endorphins. The second thing as well, it's like sometimes, John Hanford, absolute legend in the game. Now, not being rude, I've been in the industry for 20 years. I love going in and sit in with John Hanford. There's 2 reasons for that. He knows it back to front, left to right, and all the compliance. But secondly, he lives, breathes, and eats it every day. So when he's there and he's talking about it, you know that this gentleman actually knows what he's talking about. Where, for example, if I went back to Yopa with no disrespect, there's certain people in positions that are there telling you X, Y, and Z, but they haven't built a business. They've never done estate agents before, and maybe you might even have an RD, regional director, that's trying to help you build a business, but they've had 3 businesses that have failed. Each year they've not reported tax because that business has failed. How is that the right person to mentor the future estate agents in this country when you look at what goes on across the pond in the US or Australia? Sorry, I got quite excited there.
Never apologise. Boys and girls, mental health is a big issue. A lot of people have issues with it, and it's important that you're aware of it and you get help with it. Estate agency is a stressful game. You're dealing with people's emotions moving house, and we get shouted at and put on a lot. And especially the fact that because most estate agents are on the emotional scale, very emotional as well. It's a tough old job, isn't it? And that's
really
why
is.
you need friends, an outlet, or a mentor, a number of them, just to sound off, just to go through it, to verbalise it. And I think, well, look at you, much happier.
You're going to be much more happy, and I totally agree. Just with having that mentor, having good friends, and potentially a hobby. For me, 2 hobbies. One is drums, and that's the cufflinks today. So I can get onto that. Been playing that now for nearly 30 years. But also on top of that, I love gardening. Going out there, a bit of pruning, a bit of watering, looking at the pond, just little bits like connect to nature. Honestly, you won't realise how good that actually is for you.
Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Chris.